All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little 49er video. Arik Armstead feels disrespected. Does he have a right to feel disrespected? We hit that next. But first, we are brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Get some Pig and a Pickle, get some brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And we're also brought to you by Marin Auto Glass. MarinAutoGlass.com on the web, 415-883-3030. Marin Auto Glass. If you shatter a windshield, the best company in the Bay Area to replace it with, Marin Auto Glass, MarinAutoGlass.com. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Arik Armstead. He jumped from the Niners to the Jaguars in free agency. The Niners replaced him with Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott. And now Arik Armstead is talking and saying that he was extremely disrespected by the 49ers offer to him. The Niners offered him a one-year deal worth $6 million, up to $8 million with incentives. He says, I don't feel that level of compensation is anywhere near the type of player that I am. And let's hear from Armstead. Let's hear from Armstead first, and then we'll talk about it. Here is Arik Armstead saying that the Niners kind of dissed him.
You know, as the offseason progressed, they did notify me that they did want to extend me. You know, they wanted me to be a Niner for life, remain on the team. But they didn't say what number that would be at, what the extension would be at. So all season was progressing. And, finally they told me that I was going to have to take a significant pay cut. First off, I want to say, I don't have any animosity towards the organization, Kyle, John, the York family. I have a lot of respect and admiration for them and my time with them. And even with this situation, it's not on me to decide how they want to build their team and who they want to, pay and how they want to build their roster. That's not my decision. Business is business, but also in football, business mixes with personal. We have personal relationships as coaches and as executives, and I know them and they know me. They've been around me for 7 years, so business does mix with personal, and that's why these situations are tough because, it's just more than just numbers, and we're dealing with people, and we're dealing with good people. And so I understand that football business, you have to make tough decisions. And so, they extended an offer to me of $6 million for a one-year deal with incentives to go up to $8 million. And when they sent that over, I did feel extremely disrespected. I don't feel that level of compensation is nowhere near the type of player that I am, and not even just the type of player that I am. What I've committed to the game, what I've committed to my team, what I've committed to the organization and my community, I didn't feel like it was representative of who I am as a player and a person. Also too, I put a lot into what I do. I'm not just a guy who, goes to practice, goes home, just does all the bare minimum team stuff just to get by. I'm a guy who watches the most film, invests the most time in my body, preparation. working on my game, working on my craft. I have a real passion for this and a true love for this. And I know for a fact I do a lot more than majority of players. I put a lot more into football than majority of players. And
All right, there you go. There's a little bit of Arik Armstead saying the 49ers disrespected him. And I can understand where he's coming from. He's making close to $20 million a year. He's one of the most respected players on the team. He's thinking, my worth neighborhood is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, in that $5 million range. And the Niners offer him a 1-year deal for $6 million. I mean, basically a third of what he was making. With 8 million, potentially to make another couple million in incentives. I mean, this is the hard world of the NFL. I mean, this guy was your guy. This guy was your anchor of your run D, the anchor of your D line, the longest tenured Niner. He's the guy that does all your community stuff. And yet you got a Brock Purdy contract coming next year. And so you got to make really prudent decisions with your cash. And you chose Armstead as a guy who, let's be honest about this. Armstead has a chronic plantar fasciitis situation. He's missed a lot of games. The knee injury he has also could be a chronic injury. We don't know, but he's getting more and more beat up. And what is an older player going to be healthier in the future than he was this year? And then you can replace him with cheaper guys like Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott and get better health. When Shanahan was talking about Malik Collins and the addition of Collins at the owners meetings in Orlando, first thing he said is he's healthy. He's a healthier guy. And that's really what it's about. It's about two things. It's about Armstead's lack of health and inability to stay healthy, and what his health prospects look like going forward, versus how easily could you replace him in free agency for cheaper dollars with healthier younger players, versus your need to create cap room going forward, because you're going to have to pay your quarterback big money in a year. And so you need to have as clean a cap and make as prudent of fiscal decisions as possible. And obviously one of those was saying goodbye to Arik Armstead. So does Armstead have a beef? I think he does. I mean, this guy's, the offer probably should have been more like, 2 years, 20 million instead of 1 year, 6 million. He should have been paid probably about 10 million a year. And even with the injuries, even with the chronic injuries he has, he probably should have gotten a 1 year, $10 million offer. But the Niners are staring at a Brock Purdy quarterback contract in a year, and then found guys that they liked in free agency in Collins and Elliott that were healthier and younger. And they just said, you know what, we're going with the healthier, younger guy. And we can't afford Arik to, at $10 million. So we'll offer him what we can afford him at, and know that he's probably going to wind up going elsewhere. And sure enough, he responded to their offer by saying, hey, please release me and let me go find a better deal elsewhere. And they did. And he did. So, this is the cold world of the NFL salary cap. There's no room for sentimentality. There's no room for warmth. There's no room for, man, in the past, this guy did this. There's no room for, hey, you know what? This is one of the leaders in our community. This is one of he's absolutely one of the leaders in the room for the 49ers. He's absolutely one of the veterans who the young guys look up to. He absolutely is a key cog in the community. But when you got to pay your quarterback and it just becomes, you're in the wrong side of 30 and you're not staying healthy, and the team's trying to create some salary cap room to sign their big ticket item in a year, you're going to get disrespected. And I think he was. So I think he's right to feel disrespected, because that's a low ball offer. But at the same time, you got to understand where the Niners are coming from. You've been hurt. You've been paid a king's ransom. You've got the kinds of injuries that promise that you're going to be hurt more in the future. They got to pay their quarterback. So it's not personal, but I understand why Arik Armstead feels disrespected. All right. Thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to MarinAutoglass.com for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.